Hello, welcome to Cardboard History. I'm David. Happy Memorial Day. I wanted to take a little bit of time this morning to do a couple of VRs for two fantastic channels on YouTube that I have thoroughly enjoyed watching over the years. And I am really excited to celebrate along with them and congratulate them on reaching milestones. The first VR I want to do is for Scott at Reindeer Studios. Scott, first, I just want to say how much I appreciate your channel and how different it is. I love your artwork and just your energy and the joy that you bring to the hobby. And it was great to meet you at Strongsville. And I am excited to do this VR for you. And Scott had asked us to share what our favorite jerseys or uniforms are. And as I thought through this, I realized I'm probably wearing one of them right now, and that is the Wrigleyville City Connect jersey. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I was watching the Cardinals-Cubs game, and the broadcasters were talking a little bit about the City Connect jerseys because it was St. Louis's first, I believe it was their first time wearing their new The Lou City Connect jerseys, which more than reminded me of St. Louis, reminded me of Lou Brock. I think it would be great to see a picture of Lou Brock wearing the Lou City Connect jersey. But I have always loved the Cubs City Connect jersey since they came out a few years ago now. And I think part of the reason why I like it is because I definitely have an affinity towards navy colored jerseys. My school colors growing up were silver and navy. And most of the teams that I like in the different sports, if that's the Patriots in football, the Timberwolves in basketball, even the Canucks have some element of navy in their color scheme. The only teams that I really would say I have a fandom for that don't have any navy is the Buckeyes for Ohio State. And that just is because I've lived in Ohio most of my life and grew up with them. But for some reason or another, I was drawn as a kid towards schools or teams that had navy in their colors. And that goes for uniforms for the Cubs as well. I picked out two different uniforms, the first one being the City Connect. I'm going to share some cards that I really like with these jerseys from Stadium Club. And I think the jerseys obviously look different because they are the City Connect. I love the Wrigleyville as well, and tying into the element. Wrigleyville is just such a unique area with how the stadium fits within the local infrastructure and being able to either ride the L to a game or I think the first game I went to by myself, I remember parking quite a ways away and riding a bus to the stadium. But the entire neighborhood surrounding in Wrigleyville, I had a cousin that lived there for a short while, is just really amazing. And so to be able to celebrate the neighborhood while having these great jerseys, I think is fantastic. So that would probably be my first overall favorite jersey for the Cubs. The second one would be the jerseys which they wore for their Field of Dreams game. So this was just a one-off game that these jerseys were worn for, but it pays homage back to the early 1900s. This logo with the bear. If you haven't noticed my channel name, I have the CH for Cardboard History and then the bear standing next to it. I think it's probably my favorite logo for the Cubs because it does have this vintage look to it. And they had the hats, which these hats, from what I could tell, were only worn in 1914 with the navy hats with the white bear logo. And then the C with the logo inside, with this version of the C was from like 1927 and 1933. But they also had more of the rounded letter C with the bear inside from 1908. It was their home jerseys from 1908 through about 1912. Now, it's really difficult to find any cards, and I have a couple of ideas, and if anyone else knows why there aren't many cards with this logo in it. And it could be either A, because most of the pictures and things that these cards were developed from were taken in New York, so the Cubs were always the away team, and that C with the bear inside was only their home jerseys. Their away jerseys had the the letter C with Cubs spelled out, kind of similar to how it is now. The only card I could find in my collection where I'm pretty sure it's the C with the bear inside is this 1948 Topps Magic Photo. And this is Tinker and Evers. And it looks to me that you can see right there the C with the bear logo on it. My other hypothesis for why this jersey is not used in a whole lot of cards is, especially in the lithograph cards of the T206, it's probably a little bit easier artistically to spell out Cubs on the jersey than to try to draw this detailed bear logo. That could not be true at all. Those are just some ideas that I have. If anyone knows anything, I would love to hear your input. But those are definitely my two favorite jerseys. Show both the... So this is Morel. This is the gold image variation from last year, 2023 Topps. And then his City Connect and Stadium Club. So those are my favorite jerseys. Scott, thanks for doing this VR. It's fun to kind of look through and try to figure out a little bit of the history of trying to figure out why that jersey with the bear logo doesn't show up on very many cards. Which leads me to the next VR, which is for Wade Boggs fan. He's celebrating reaching 2,000 subscribers. Congrats, John. It's a huge milestone. Your videos are always very informative, and it's always interesting for me to see inside a player collection that is collected to the level that you have. I just really appreciate the content that you put out and the joy that you bring to your hobby as well. And one thing that John had asked us to discuss is how YouTube has increased our enjoyment of the hobby. And for me, this comes probably in two stages. The first stage is getting into watching YouTube videos, and then the second stage is really creating YouTube content. And for me, I got back into the hobby during the pandemic. I had collected as a kid in the 90s and a little bit around 2010 through 2012. And then really it was 2020, 2021 that I got back in and really started looking into things. And I probably took a similar path as many people during the pandemic. I first got in and watched a lot of the channels that put out a ton of information, if that's Sport Card Investor or Ryan. Can't remember the name of the channel off the top of my head. I think Card Collector 2. And a lot of the channels that really emphasized modern cards, especially basketball and football. And I started kind of diving back in with current cards, and it wasn't very long until I started watching Bench Clear Media and learning a little bit more about vintage cards. And the first thing really is that I feel like YouTube provided an easy way for me to get into collecting vintage cards beyond what I had done in the past. And that was being able to watch videos from people and learn about different sets and things, scarcity, and everything that you really need to know to start getting into vintage and pre-war collecting. I began to learn what questions to ask and do further research, and I feel like YouTube really provided a way for me to start learning more about the vintage side of the hobby. And that was through watching, and I watched probably about 2 to 3 years of YouTube before finally making the plunge and starting to create content myself. I went back and forth for about a year until I finally decided I'm just going to do it. The biggest hang up for me was the time commitment. I shared a little bit here and there about things that I have going on in my life, and it's a little bit hectic and crazy. I work full-time as an engineer. I am also a PhD student currently, and we have 3 kids that are under the age of 4, and life is crazy and chaotic. On top of that, we flip houses with my parents, and so we always have things going on. And that was the biggest hang up. Was I wanted to get involved with the YouTube community, but didn't really want to make the time commitment because I knew I had so much else on my plate. And eventually, leading up to Strongsville, and I think Chris from Missouri doing the Strongsville YouTube get together really kind of spurred me on to decide, you know what, I want to be part of this community. I largely collect in a vacuum. There's one other guy that lives locally to me that been friends with for a while, and he also collects, but beyond that, I don't have a whole lot of other people who understand the hobby, and so I wanted to get more plugged into the community, and seeing the Strongsville show as a chance to meet some people, really decided, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, but I'm only going to create videos on my schedule. I'm not going to feel like I need to do a ton of videos to put out a lot of content, and when things get busy, if I need to step away, I can do that, because I'm not creating content because I want to grow something, but because I want to be part of the community. And so if that means some months I put out one video or no videos, and some months maybe I have more time and can do more, that's fine. And I think when I got that in my mind, you know what, this is just going to be on my schedule, that gave me the freedom to feel like I could do this. And probably since starting creating content, the one thing that has surprised me most that I've enjoyed is how much creating content has pushed me to learn. I've been this way in every area of life. That's part of the reason why I'm working on my PhD, and I want to eventually get into teaching, is because I learn the most when I'm preparing to teach. And whenever I'm preparing to put together a video to showcase a card, I always feel like I want to dig in deeper to the history of the player, the set, and learn more. And I learn more that way than just watching other people's videos. So I think for me an example would be this Joe Page 1951 card that I did a video on for my Ken Burns collection. I watched the Ken Burns documentary several times through and really enjoyed learning that, but when I started doing my Ken Burns project and collecting, I realized that I would get the chance to dig in deeper on several players that I wanted to highlight in videos and learn more of their history. And Joe Page, he's a guy that I never would have considered twice. If I was looking through a box of 51 Bowmans, I would have seen Joe Page and just flipped right past it. But because I was looking for that card, I picked it up and eventually did a lot of research. And a lot of the videos that I do, sharing things, it's stuff that I have been researching for the past week. It's not stuff, I don't have this immense knowledge of history, but I named my channel Cardboard History because that's what I wanted to do through the channel, is to get to know the community and to dig into the history of baseball cards and learn more. And I feel like having a YouTube channel and being involved in content creating in the YouTube card community has really pushed me to learn more. And I've always appreciated when people provide comments of cards that maybe I've shown and been like, as far as I know, this is this player's earliest card, and they'll say, well, there's two more that you didn't know about. And to me, that's, I'm not, oh man, somebody knows more than me and I should have known that. It's for me more of the chance to realize, oh great, I'm growing, I'm learning more, and to me that's what is really enjoyable. I love getting to know people. I loved getting to meet people at Strongsville, and that was a fantastic show for me to be able to meet so many different people that collect and to create connections. And also it was great just to learn. And that's probably what I enjoy most, to answer John's question that he posed about how has YouTube increased my enjoyment of the hobby. And it's done it through really pushing me to learn more, and so that way I can share what I've learned and some cool stories and backgrounds with those who take time to watch my channel. I appreciate everyone who watches. I've only been creating YouTube content since about February, so it's been really an amazing 3 to 4 months, and I've appreciated all the positive feedback, the subscribers, the comments. It's been fantastic, and I think I will echo what many other people have said, is that I've been blown away by the support from others in the community, and it's really just a great place. So if anyone is watching this and considering starting a YouTube channel, I would definitely encourage it. Also, take time, check out Scott Reindeer Studios channel and John Wade Boggs Fan, both fantastic channels with a lot of great content. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate sticking around to the end, and thank you again for watching Cardboard History.